Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Woo woo. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. As promised, I have the one, the only Pratt Daddy, Spencer Pratt, greatest husband on earth, best hype man, boy dad, married to the #1 pop star, million trillion downloads, Heidi Wood, new album, I'll Be Your Blonde Tonight. That's the #1, but there's the new song, Animal. What's the other one?
Sometimes I wish I was a rapper because I would have your intro, like how they used to do like the preludes, like a song, and then the beat would come in, you know, like I'm like that. But yeah, No Going Home was the first one, was the sad.
Wait, when there's no going home. Am I saying it right?
It sounds beautiful.
That one really gives me chills.
That one's like too heavy.
It gives you every time it pops up. And you put it over anything
like
about
the burning houses.
About the fire. I mean, I get like I'm getting chills right now thinking about it. But I think
it needed to be done.
I think it's a great song.
Yeah, it's not what I like because it's like I'm trying to be like not
sad,
depressed. So like it's hard to promote that one, and like editing the sizzle like clips for that was traumatic. Going through like your camera roll and then like really realizing all this is burned down. So that was very hard. I think it was therapeutic in the sense, trying to like, I don't know. My goal is to not say like 4 million times. I'm going to go to a doctor.
Who cares? I've been doing it my whole life. I am a Valley girl.
I think it is. I think it's an LA thing.
And if you
think about it, you start doing it more.
You're not going to be a good guest on the podcast. So this is who you are.
Drinking game. Every time I say like, have a half a shot so you don't black out.
Getting your hands on Ozempic or Wegovy is enough of a hassle. Negotiating with your insurance provider shouldn't be something else that you need to worry about. That is what I love about Ro. Ro's Insurance Checker lets you know if you're covered for GLP-1s for free. Go to ro.co/juicyscoop for your free insurance check. That's ro.co/juicyscoop to see if your insurance covers GLP-1s for free. Go to ro.co/safety for black box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. This episode of Juicy Scoop is brought to you by Booking.com. I know many of you have a vacation rental, and let me tell you, the best thing you can do is put it on Booking.com because it opens the door to more guests. Whether you're looking to earn that extra income, fill those vacant weekends, or grow your business, head over to Booking.com to see how you can get started today. The reach is global, the bookings are consistent, and the control is yours. For the bookings you've dreamed of, list your property on Booking.com. So you guys have been so busy. She made appearances at Stagecoach. You are going
Not Stagecoach. That deal didn't work out. We almost did Stagecoach, but
I mean
Coachella. Budgets aren't the Kardashian level budget for Stagecoach. So you know what's wild?
What?
Is now I'm like the biggest Kourtney Kardashian fan, and
because she had her perform at
her big
party.
event, at her pooch thing. So I never saw that coming. I mean, I always loved Scott and Kourtney when they were together. They were a great couple, but now I'm like,
a great couple. They're the worst couple
for TV.
For TV, he was hilarious.
That was great. I was upset when that was no longer part of the show. But
have you ever hung out with Scott?
I met him for the first time. People say I've met him before. I don't remember that because it would have been in my early 20s.
Yeah.
So I don't think it actually happened. But at the Hulu. Actually, this is a great tidbit. When our house first burned down.
When it first burned down?
Like this,
how many times has it burned down? You mean back in January? Okay.
That moment, I lived through it every day. So technically, the first time I felt it. In my DMs, I want to say the first person to reach out was Scott Disick. I would have to look, and I don't want to like search, but it was
only because I text you. But I understand if it's just a DM.
First DM.
Yes.
Let's look. Let's just see, because I had never messaged him. I don't even think he followed me. Laura Disick, and he And so forever.
That's very nice.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to. He's nothing to gain. He wrote, never DM me before. Hey, brother, just wanted to drop in and say how happy I am for you and, of course, saddened by all the horrific fires everyone is dealing with. But there ain't no couple that deserves their fame and money more than you guys. I hope it keeps getting bigger. Exclamation, exclamation. Huge congratulations, man. You guys deserve it. So just because he fell.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Listen, in all the times I've hung out with him, I always thought he was funny and charming. I don't really know what's going on. I know that how it works out now with them having their show, at least in the last few years. Even when I interviewed Malika and her sister, I always call them the Malikas because that's what that one girl would call them, the one that would do did you ever read, I don't know what happened. I was following this account and it was, this girl did the Northwest Black Book. And it was
they probably got that
funny.
Account deleted.
No, they had her come on the show once. They thought it was funny.
Oh.
But I think as North got older, I don't know if that still exists anymore. But anyway, she would call them from North's perspective as a little girl, the Malikas, because the main one was Malika, but her twin sister. Anyway, when I interviewed them years ago, one of them said, yeah, at a certain point, we were like, hey, can we get a fee? We should be paid as the friend. We can't just be coming over all the time and just sign a release. We're the only person Courtney or Chloe's talking to. So I know that throughout the years, he had, even when they were separated or divorced, a point of being on the show. But I don't know if he's really on the show anymore, Scott.
I'm going to tune in and catch up on Hulu, but I'm not aware. Can't wait to binge watch it on Hulu, all episodes streaming. But then, so I meet him after that DM for the first time at the Hulu event
or whatever. Big PR thing. Yeah.
The cool name they had for it.
Yeah.
And he came up and he was so nice. And he's like, congratulations, bro. This is the funniest thing I'm dealing with, which everyone keeps on saying to me, it's so amazing what's happening. And if I had enough money from this amazing moment that's happening to rebuy our exact 2,500 square foot house with our exact knives and all just exactly what we had, I could embrace that. But I come off so what are you talking because I don't feel that. It's exciting and there's so much positivity, but we still don't have our house. We don't have the money to rebuild our house. So God willing, maybe it keeps coming. But based off of what's happening with my algorithms, it doesn't seem like I'm getting more famous. It feels like I'm drastically getting less famous. So
wait, I want to talk about that too, because that's really funny what you've been doing. So first of all, you're really big on TikTok, got to the million on TikTok.
2.1 million.
2.1 million. Mm-hmm. And then, and I saw that you were doing a lot of TikTok shops and stuff. And I actually was saying to Drake, my son, who now works full time, I said, we should talk to Spencer about it because maybe when you come back, because I've got 435,000 people. And we just put the clips of the show and a couple funny opinions. I'm not selling stuff. But I buy a lot of stuff from people. I buy a lot of TikTok products. I just got a dress that was, but a lot of my outfits are good. I'm sometimes I'm just well, this is $20. If it sucks, who cares? I don't return it. But anyway, I was seeing that you were doing that. And I was maybe I'm leaving money on the table. But then you said that's what screwed up now people not seeing your videos as much. Can you explain what you think is going on?
Okay, so let's rewind. Peak most famous I've ever been in my whole life. Truly billions of views. In 30 days, you look at the analytics, one said 580 million. It was so insane. So the heads of TikTok were we're going to connect you with that global top TikTok shop person. And so I talked to this legend. I love him. It's not his fault. Anything happened. He's a good guy, Luke. And he's like, oh, I'll get you a house, any house you want. We'll make you millions with your da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, lock it in, set it up. Next thing you know, I'm selling pre-owned, beautiful luxury designer purses with this Chinese company. They're the number one Chinese company that came over here to work with TikTok. So I'm in this house in Beverly Hills with all lovely Chinese people from China. I don't know if they all live in the house, but there's just me and all these Chinese people. And so I'm not making millions of dollars and my views are crashing.
So how does it work? Do you get a commission off each purse that you
purse
sell?
you sell. So, but the reality is the commission, these purses cost so much to begin with that the cut, like I have to sell. And so I stop at like 5 hours of like showing purses and handbags and they look at me dead serious. Why are you stopping so soon? I'm like, been standing for 5 hours nonstop unzipping purses. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we need to go for like 8 hours. I'm like, are you nuts? My feet hurt. My jaw hurts. Like, I can't even do this. So then I started working with all the brands. I'm doing the gum. I'm doing anything that they have in TikTok shop, the powders, meat. I'm trying everything. But in my conspiracy, what I believe is TikTok shop as the algorithm wants all of these companies that are the sellers to put money behind the video of you selling their thing to boost it. So it turned my entertainment TikTok account into an e-commerce account. And what I know from businesses, they're not going to just push those mints. If I have a mint thing, I'm like, they only make money if that mint company pays for a boost, like boost this to this many millions of viewers. So I spent the last 2 months 10 emails a day calling. They couldn't disconnect my TikTok account because there were all these pending orders, blah, blah, blah. So finally they went to the heads of China TikTok and they got a deal to recode my TikTok. And now I sabotage myself 1,000 times TikTok shop because when I think they recoded my TikTok, they created it like it was a new account, like I turned it on, like I signed up. So my whole algorithm is as if I am respectfully an unhoused person that just got a phone on the sidewalk and just made a TikTok with no Wi-Fi and is like, oh, that's the equivalent to how I went from getting millions of views on my TikTok to 1,000. When I posted before, I just post and go 100,000. Now I post, it goes 400 viewers. So it's like a real, like I'm talking to God. Like I actually prayed for 10 minutes. Like, God, you need to fix this because
you can pray for more than 10 minutes, but no, but
I need to pray for more than 10 minutes.
Maybe pray for more. No, but I'm saying it was so interesting when I saw, and then you're like, oh, I'm doing, and you like put the phone in a bag and put your head in the bag. You're like, I'm just trying to do different things. Or I used to joke and say, why does every girl have to tell a story doing makeup? Why can't I just tell you the story with like a pool in the background? Like, why do I have to like be like doing all that?
It's the AI.
There's something with it. And then that gets old and it has to be like cooking or whatever. And I mean, for people, and we will get to other things, but I do think this is interesting because it is a big part of our life and it is crazy. And I'll see other content creators being like, I don't know what happened. Can you let me know if you're seeing this? Like sometimes people think they're getting banned because they're too controversial or like they're speaking the truth and like the world is coming down on them.
They're not wrong.
It could be that
No, I'll
too.
tell you how I know.
Okay.
Because what I didn't know is somebody called me like a TikTok live battler that, I used to do the TikTok live battlers and All Money calls me and he's like, if you checked your violations, I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, click below your post where it says more data. I'm not kidding. I want to say 500 of my videos below had violations for, and the AI, now it's so AI driven. If I was eating a taco, it would be like substance abuse. So I'd have to appeal the violation. But if you don't, it's like limited your audience, appeal violations. So these people may not know that they are getting violations. And if you say hate speech, bullying, anything you could ever think of, my videos had it. So for 2 days straight, I'm like submitting appeals. So they're not even crazy.
Well, that's so interesting because, it's not like that on Instagram, but I'll cut the clips from the show. And sometimes it'll get 4,000 views and sometimes it'll get 1 million. And they'll be right next to each other on my grid. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was the time I hit it or what. But for me, I just go, whatever, that one was a waste. Three more, it'll be at 500,000 again. It's like, but it was a very interesting thing. So No, I won't be selling purses on
No,
TikTok
what you
Shop.
know what you need to do
Tell me what I
is
need
if
to
you
do.
do it, what I've learned is you do your burner account. So you'd add Juicy Scoop Shop, a new TikTok. And on that
Oh.
account, you connect to TikTok Shop and you put all the Juicy Scoop merch in there. Once a week, you could do videos in there and you do hashtag. So now on the at Heidi and Spencer account, I connected TikTok Shop and at the at Pratt Daddy account because it is a great,
Yeah.
I buy, like you said, it works.
Right.
But if you're trying to be an entertainer and they say it shouldn't. They say that the algorithm will feed your entertainment posts to the entertainment people and your TikTok Shop. But the problem with me is everything I do seems like e-commerce. All I'm doing all day long is saying order, pre-order, stream, shop. So
Yeah.
my entertainment is trying to sell you Heidi music all day long. So it's been, again, I don't care because now I'm posting like it's a spam account.
Yeah.
Because I was at the Airbnb event with all the famous influencers in my first real influencer event I got invited to. So funny though. I didn't know all the mega stars like Christina Aguilera, Kevin Hart, and all these people were going to be there. So I'm in the front row doing my content, and all of a sudden I see all these people like coming from Airbnb team, like kind of hovering over me. I'm like, why are they like vibing me? And then I look at the seats and I'm looking at all the name tags for my name and I don't see my name, but I see like Kevin Hart, Christina. I'm like, start filming. I'm like, what the F? These people are coming and they're like, you're not allowed to be in this section right now. And they're waiting for me to move to like bring the real celebrities in. And then I joked like, because they didn't have names for like non-celebrities. It was like a number. So I counted back from the like A-list celebrities and I was like, A, B, C, D. I was like, I think I'm an F-list celebrity because of the row, but it was still the closest I've ever been to A-listers. So I didn't take it as a negative. I was just telling the other influencers. But then like Shaun White's wife was in front of me and I was like, oh, I don't know if she knows she's D-list. You know? But so when I was quizzing all the big time TikTok influencers, they only post once a day. So that's the algorithm for the real. If you really want to be strategic, that's what they do. And I'm doing 50 a day. So I don't care because I'm like.
I mean, look, I joked about Halle Berry was selling lube on Mother's Day. And I'm like, our Oscar winner. Then someone said, I think that's her own brand. Whatever,
Still.
who cares? You have to do it. It's fine. I get it. I mean, I just saw Lisa Kudrow and Courtney Cox. They were doing a
gaming ad for TikTok.
And I'm like, okay, are you guys just bored? Are you getting paid like
millions,
$5 million each?
Millions,
because
these
you were
apps
making
have
$1
so
million.
much money.
You were making $1 million every episode, and I understand the residuals of Friends is not where it's at. But then I'm like, you're probably like, why not? Like, why not meet my girlfriend and do something and make money?
Millions.
And there's nothing embarrassing about it anymore. It is what it is. But I sometimes feel like for other people, it's like, can we have one thing?
Oh, that's what I've been saying that for years because like I'm over in the gutter trying to take any check. And now you are dealing with mega stars taking every check. I'm like, can somebody eat some croutons? Like you're taking all the bread and I get the old rotted piece of bread that you made the croutons with. So I've been feeling that.
Funny.
And then I always think these poor commercial actors that used to do the AT&T, that used to like, that was a career and everything that you cannot.
Every commercial is an Oscar winner. It's Bradley Cooper selling
insurance. Matthew McConaughey selling Fords. Like
George Clooney selling Nespresso. And I'm like, it's.
So I'm selling handbags. They better not come from my turf.
Once
pre-owned is my niche. Here's the worst part about that.
Yeah.
I actually did like good. My first one, I've made some real money.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is going to be huge. Of course, what happens? The tariff thing, China puts all the information showing these bags cost like $1. I tell them, I say, hey guys, we should cancel the next live. This is not going to work. It's trending showing that this costs this. No one's going to buy the pre-owned this when they're seeing these Chinese companies doing it for this. So like, no, let's just try. How do you think that 5 hours went? I was right. So
I want to know what a day in the life of Spencer Pratt is. So you guys live in Carpinteria, which is...
We live in Santa Barbara.
Sorry, you live in Santa Barbara. and you have a rental house there. Or is
We are renting from Skipper and Janet, who are unfortunately in an apartment.
those are your parents?
Yeah.
And so you have the kids.
They're in
and
school.
They both go to school. The little one does too.
He loves preschool. Thank
A
God.
little one. What's the little one's name?
Riker.
Riker.
It's like anime.
He's like, they're both gorgeous.
No, but
your whole family,
Riker's
your whole family
Riker's
is like the cutest.
He's like a legit. He needs to get in a movie or something.
You know, like just your 4 blondes, not 4 non-blondes. You are just 4 blondes. You were just the cutest family ever.
I was wearing those Meta glasses, hoping Meta would like DM me. You know, all they did was comment. I'll take a comment, but that's the level I'm at. Like trying to get the ad. So I wore these goofy looking glasses for a whole day. Not goofy, they're amazing.
They're amazing. Peter has them, and so does Drake.
I actually love them. I couldn't believe how much they just need more battery.
So Drake wore them as he was getting his degree at ASU. And he goes, I was so distracted because there was this really drunk kid that they were like, you're not going to walk, you're too wasted. And the kid was begging and so we saw it all on the Meta glasses. And then finally he's like crying. And the guy's like, okay, man, you better not fuck it up. I'll let you get your degree. And he's hugging him. He's like, I'm sorry, man. Like, cause they stood drinking all day, like these kids. And so they are really fun. These glasses are great. Peter walks around talking to people with them.
Me too. And it sounds amazing. Yeah. And now, cause I used to think AI was not helpful, but then people I know live off of Chat GPT.
Yeah.
And then I saw a Meta AI commercial. So now I'm just talking to Meta AI all day. I'm like, hey, Meta AI, how do I get rich and famous? You know, like, here are your steps, you know. So I am trying to get a campaign though. So I'm going to wear them until I wore the original ones 7 years ago. The Snapchat had the spectacles and I wore them everywhere. So I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. But so yes, you want to sponsor Juicy Scoopers? We did the custom scoop.
Okay, so
this was crazy. Let me tell this story.
Yeah,
Let me
tell that you were the grand marshal.
This is the first time I felt famous ever.
Okay, tell the story.
So we get invited. We always go to these.
Explain what this is, because
this is Monster Jam. Sorry, I forget. Some people aren't watching. Apologize, but please watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like and share, comment. So this was the Monster Jam at SoFi Stadium, and it's perfect because our sons actually are obsessed with these little Monster Jam trucks, and then B, obviously we love Blippi. And there's some controversy about somebody like, you guys like Blippi? There's a new Blippi, by the way. His name's Clayton. He was casted by the new Blippi owners. Blippi's now on Netflix. So people were like in my DMs, like, you support Blippi?
Blippi is a kid's show.
But there was some controversy with old Blippi. I have nothing to do with that. I'm just saying there's a new Blippi.
When my kids were little, it was Blue's Clues.
So just so everyone knows, and this is new Blippi.
They had a new Blue's Clues too that switched out.
So this
and they said, oh, the old one's going to college. And then
the old one got 20 million. So he's at the freaking
the old Blippi got 20
maybe
million.
30.
Why? Why did he get so much?
He owned Blippi.
He owned Blippi. He
created Blippi. So that guy has some drama because before he's Blippi, I guess he did other types of entertainment.
No way.
That's what I don't know. His sister has messaged me. She's very nice. And I have nothing against anyone's, I don't know all the information, but sometimes I get attacked in the DMs. I can't believe you. I'm like, do your Blippi research. I'm with the new Blippi that is clean cut, freaking rolls everywhere. This wife who's lovely, and they're angelic people. So back to what I was saying. Sorry, I've had so much caffeine to get here on my drive.
Okay.
So and I had a Benadryl. So just a lot of allergies. Okay. So Monster Jam, and they love Blippi. My little 2.5-year-old saw Blippi at Monster Jam. That's one of his favorite episodes. So he kept on saying, we're going to go see Monster Jam and Blippi. And we're like, no, Blippi won't be there. And he would cry for like a week and a half. Every time we're trying, I'm like, this is supposed to be positive. And we're like, Blippi's not there. We pull up, we get there. Guess who's there? Blippi. And so it's just everything's coming together. And the head of Marquee, the PR company for Spin Master that does the toys, comes up and they're like, they've asked if you guys will be the grand marshal keep in mind, respectfully, there's buff ass Dax Shepard with all his muscles. He didn't really like my joke when I told him to chill on the push-ups. So there's like, Mandy Moore, Ashley Simpson, a lot of names I'm forgetting, but respectfully, actual celebrities there. So they're asking us to be introduced. This is Monster Jam, start the engines. We're like, definitely. So that was a moment where this is the first time I didn't feel like the F list. They brought us in the front. It felt incredible. And Gunnar got to yell and the thing. So that was amazing. But then the best part about this is when Brody and I were like 20 years old, we met Mandy Moore, Brody Jenner. There's no other Brody.
Oh, just so gorgeous.
Yeah, your favorite hunk in the world. So Brody and I met Mandy Moore when she was peak famous, when we were like 20 years old at the one and only hotel. And we hung out. Nobody hooked up. It was just all fun friends. So that was my Mandy Moore. I always loved Mandy Moore. Again, total cool friendship. Nobody hooked up. So it's not some weirdness. And so when the house is all burned down, people were trying to cancel her for putting like a GoFundMe link that obviously somebody in her family or friends asked her to share, which she's not rich enough to go buy somebody else a new house.
Right.
So what?
Yeah.
She's not fucking Elon Musk or Bezos where they're putting a GoFundMe. So people were trying to cancel her. So I did a bunch of TikToks when I had my peak TikTok fame, like, you come for Mandy Moore, da, da, da. So I forgot I even did that because I've done a lot of TikToks and I was unhinged. And so she comes up to me and is like, I just want to thank you so much for your TikToks. Give my back. I'm like, well, in that case, guess what you have to do? She's like, huh? I'm like, you got to come out of retirement and do a song with Heidi. She's like, huh? And like her husband's like supportive and her friends support her. I'm like, it's done. You're doing this. She's like, really? You think? I'm like, you have to do this for me. So she said she would. So I talked to all the top. I messaged Timberland, Circuit, all these top producers to do a remake flip, as they call it, of Candy for her and Heidi to do. So, and then Heidi rolls up on Ashley Simpson. I didn't know this separately, and gets Ashley Simpson to say she'll do. So we got a Mandy Moore Heidi song and an Ashley Simpson Heidi song in the works.
I mean, so in doing these songs, how does she do it? Does she write any of them? Does she work with a writer? Like, how are you coming up with these names and these bops?
So here's the best thing that we keep being told by the real deal people.
Yeah.
Rihanna, who has more hits than anyone, didn't write one of her songs. And why she has the most hits is she didn't go in the studio, try to take the most talented people in the world and mess their flow up. So the problem with today's artists, and there are some that can write, Taylor, but a lot of the other ones, they have to be in the session with the top writer producers, putting in their 2 cents. Heidi's well aware of what her strengths are and not being a #1 Billboard writer. So we're getting records for Heidi that you wouldn't have gotten in 2005 because there were artists like Rihanna that would just they're called pitch records. So superstar producers and writers do a record and they pitch it to the labels. But now the labels aren't taking these records because their artists have to be in the session and get a co-writer credit. And a lot of the top people don't even want to do that with people. So we're getting these insane records because the real competition has to write from scratch.
Oh.
So we're getting the game
Cool.
change. It's
Okay.
a miracle that now everyone's so like, I wrote my song, like, whereas Heidi doesn't need to say that.
Yeah.
She did write she wrote Forgive and Forget with Callie. Technically, she did write No Going Home. She didn't take a credit. She was part of that.
Right.
But she's not like doing the harm. Let the writers get their writer share. We're the label. She owns the masters.
Okay.
So everybody gets their piece and everyone's happy. But we share the streaming part of the masters with the producer. It's just like people love working with Heidi.
Money is you are making money from the songs.
We made the most money from China a year ago.
From when they were first playing
I'll Do It.
I'll Do It all the time.
That was the peak. So
Before
we have not
the fire.
before the fire.
Okay.
So it was actually better in our house with I'll Do It in China.
Okay.
But now the bigger picture is Heidi's at 3.9 million monthly listeners are on Spotify. So if anyone is here on a Juicy Scoop and you have Spotify and you haven't added Heidi's profile, please do it, because that monthly listener is like, it's the new modern clout of like, who's a pop star. So
Right.
that creates all these opportunities. So
And that doesn't cost anything.
no, Spotify's free. So these people can just add Heidi's music to their Spotify.
Do your Christian service.
Yeah, actually don't add her Christian song because we get 0 from that. And that was the Christians played us on that one.
What was that story?
I'm not even going to say the name of the song.
When did she do that?
She on the Hills reboot, which was respectfully the dumbest thing we did. We should have just done I'll Do It. But, you know, it was like a fun idea and she was going to do a Christian album. And then they told her she wasn't Christian enough to do a Christian album. So I pray for those Christian souls because God does not love judgment. So regardless, do your Christian duty. You don't, if you're a real Christian, cover your ears. You know, I don't want you to, you know, some of these songs are.
No, I always just say.
No Going Home is very Christian.
Yeah. I always just say, what the reason I say Christian service is I've been doing Juicy Scoop for 10 years. And I used to say, you know, subscribe, spread the word of Juicy Scoop like you would Jesus Christ. Kind of joking, but being a Catholic, to get people to know about Juicy Scoop. So then some people said that they don't like that I'm saying it like that. I'm like, whatever, fine. But it really came from, if you go to Catholic school, I don't know how it is at Christian schools, but any private Catholic school you go to, you have to get a certain amount of hours of Christian service. It's part of the religion class. So it was always in my head, even after I finished school, anytime I'd do something, I'd be like, I'm going to put it towards my Christian service hours. So that is where it comes, like, do your Christian service and easily just open your phone and do this one little thing and, you know, and subscribe to Heidi on the Spotify. And it's, you know, it's just a simple thing to do. We don't, you know, you don't have to go put out a credit card, nothing like that. But then you can buy the album and pre-order the album, which would be an extra nice thing to do.
I would say do your Jewish service, your Muslim service,
Scientology, your Mormon. Just do a nice
do your
thing. Put it out in the universe.
You know, there's some trolls that watch this. Do your demon service.
Yes.
You know, I know the real trolls listen too. You know, so do your little demonic service and add it as well.
Put something out.
I
in the
actually
universe.
just had to respond because somebody wrote like, people don't understand that there's a modern sound to certain songs. So these are the top people in the world doing. The guy that mixes Heidi's song has 17 Grammys. Jason Joshua did. It's all Beyonce's. So somebody will DM me and they'll be like, it sounds like it's in a tunnel. Like the guy has 17 Grammys. He put that sound there for a reason. I wrote back and I look in their bio because I know like clockwork, following the words of Jesus Christ, you know, instantly I know that's the bio. So I always say demons do that to like deter, like it's a ops. It's like propaganda for the devil. Like demons make fake Christian accounts and then like do that, you know, like the Satanists run an account. And so I write back, hey demon, go pray with Jesus. And they're like, I thought you changed. I'm like, no, I still talk shit back to people who talk shit to my wife. Like same guy. But yeah, that just happened right when I walked in.
Getting your hands on Ozempic or Wegovy is enough of a hassle. Negotiating with your insurance provider shouldn't be something else that you need to worry about. That is what I love about Ro. Ro's insurance checker lets you know if you're covered for GLP-1s for free. Ro can help you understand if GLP-1s, like Ozempic and Wegovy, are right for you and your goals, but that's just the beginning. If you're eligible for GLP-1s and you want to see if you're covered, all you have to do is submit your insurance card and Ro will take care of the rest. No paperwork, no negotiating, no waiting on hold. Ro's free insurance checker will send you a comprehensive report of your coverage details so you can make a decision that's right for your goals and your budget. Plus, Ro members have support throughout the process. You'll have access to your provider on demand for any questions. Go to ro.co/juicyscoop for your free insurance check. That's ro.co/juicyscoop to see if your insurance covers GLP-1s for free. Go to ro.co/safety for black box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. This episode of Juicy Scoop is brought to you by Booking.com. I know many of you have a vacation rental, and let me tell you, the best thing you can do is put it on booking.com because it opens the door to more guests. Booking.com is one of the most downloaded travel apps in the world that makes it the place to list your vacation rentals if you want to earn more with consistent bookings, reach new markets, and turn hosting into a steady income. Over the past 25 years, they've helped more than 1.8 billion vacation rental guests find places to stay, so why not help them find yours? The best part, getting started is so easy. In less than 15 minutes, you can register your property, and nearly half of partners get their first bookings within a week. Plus, if you're already listed on another site, Booking.com makes it easy to import your property info and get going right away. Whether you're looking to earn that extra income, fill those vacant weekends, or grow your business, head over to Booking.com to see how you can get started today. The reach is global, the bookings are consistent, and the control is yours. For the bookings you've dreamed of, list your property on Booking.com. Well, summer is almost here, and I know some of us get real hot when we're sleeping, or your partner does, and it could really affect your sleep, and I hate that. But what I love is I don't suffer like that anymore because I love my Boll and Branch sheets. It's really helping me have such a better night's sleep. It's amazing. Boll and Branch's best-selling percale sheets, you'll never sleep hot again. They're made with special cooling weave in the finest 100% organic cotton. So the sheets feel crisp to the touch, breathable to sleep in, and offer cool comfort that lasts all night, even for the sweatiest of sleepers. Feel the difference an extraordinary night's sleep can make with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/juicyscoop. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/juicyscoop to save 15%. Exclusions apply. See site for details. I want to talk about what this other fun thing that you do that you've been doing for a long time, which is the bits that you do with the burritos and to the Enya song. And recently they did a whole article about how you brought that Enya song up, and it's singing this hallelujah, hallelujah. And you find these burritos and you have like your kids do it, and you'll be shopping and you like open a piece of bread and it's hidden in there. And I can't be the only one because you keep doing it, but I watch the whole one. It puts such a smile on my face. I want to know, like, what started that, and then how much time a week do you have to put into doing the burrito videos?
Okay, my best one ever is actually this morning.
Okay.
So you got something to tune in for. It's a masterpiece.
Okay.
So 8 years ago, I would say, when I was really popping Snapchat of the year, DJ Khaled, me, Kylie, my shtick before they got all weird with what you could do was I'd pour an entire bottle of white, sometimes red, usually white, wine into one glass to Enya's Only Time.
Okay.
And then I would do it with the wine, and people love that to the point then Folgers jacked me and did a commercial with Only Time. Everyone knew it was the timing when I was doing it's not a coincidence.
No, but wait, I just want to stop right there because that's so interesting. Malia Obama just was accused of, she directed a commercial for Nike, and this other girl did a very similar small short film that had like shot by shot of these girls doing patty cake. And, the plagiarism that goes on, whether it's Mel Robbins saying, let them, which came from this other girl's poem from 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I feel like people at home don't care about plagiarism. Unless you're a creator yourself, you do not care. And no one cares about the Malia Obama thing, and no one cares about the Mel Robbins. They're just like, so what? So what that they took it? I'm like, okay. I mean,
so I felt that. So then when that creator on TikTok, I knew her. I have no brain cells last night. Oh my God. I should know her name like tattooed on me, but she came up with a mix of Pitbull and Heidi that went viral.
Yeah.
And so when I got Pitbull to agree, I got her an executive producer credit.
Awesome.
And like the label or the distribution label and the lawyer's like, it's a mashup. You don't need to give her an executive producer credit. And I was like, yes, we do. This was her idea. And so she has an executive producer credit.
But
so they
I love
stole
that.
only
Yeah.
time. So then I switched. I pivoted to somehow I found Echoes in Rain,
Yeah.
which is the Hallelujah song.
Yeah.
And I used to eat so many, I've always eaten so many burritos. So I did that for years on Snapchat. But then randomly when I was so popping on TikTok back a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever, I did it. I just did it. And it was the one, I think, when I walked into the ocean because I was
Yes.
crashing out. And that went so viral. And I was like,
Who filmed that one when you were in the ocean with the
my
burrito?
buddy.
Okay, because I was like, there's no way it's Heidi, but okay.
No, my buddy.
Does Heidi have to film a lot of this stuff?
Most of them. Now I call a guy. Sometimes
Okay.
I ask the waiters to do it. Like if I
Yeah.
know the people.
Or like this grocery store one.
That
where you
was
found it in the bread.
that was the lady at the checkout.
So you do ask people, and
Yes.
they get excited and they recognize you and they know what you're doing. Or do you ever have to explain to a total
Well, I
stranger that
always
you're
have
just
to
like
explain.
this?
Like today's took like 2 takes because spoiler alert. Today
Yeah.
I had a stack of pancakes and I
Yeah.
had them hollow out the pancakes and stick the burrito inside and then cover the pancake. But I told them people forget you can't cut the burrito in half because then it becomes a wrap. Can't be dancing with a wrap. That's like is that a spinach wrap? Like what is that a Caesar salad wrap? Has to be a burrito.
Yeah.
So when I got it, I was like, oh my God. So that sometimes takes a process of no, it has to be a burrito. But depending on the situation. So it blew up, the water one. And I said to Heidi, I can't be jumping in the ocean and it tasted like salt. No matter how much I was like, I can't be eating a salt water. I don't want to be getting in the ocean every day. So I just started figuring out, ways to keep it more entertaining. But then I'm like, people will get used to it. I'm like, I got to hide them and stuff and make it more like, what's the reveal? So now my brain is scary trying to figure out where to hide a burrito.
So like I said, your day you wake up, you have kid stuff to do. Then you have to figure out what burrito hiding place is going to be and film that video. Then you have to go and find more stuff for Heidi to promote Heidi, do your TikToks, cry about your TikToks going down, then talk to the lawyers about the Palisades fire locks case.
Now I'm also suing the insurance because they only decided to pay half of what was in the policy. So a new lawsuit suing California Fair Plan. So, I mean, it's the level, but.
Do you sleep?
I just started today. Yesterday was my first day in a hyperbaric chamber where they locked me up in a thing, which I thought I would sleep in it, but my ears like, so,
Yeah.
Yes and no. I'm having lots of medical things happening to me. So I'm working on getting better, but now I am feeling the fleeting, and I always knew this. You have a moment, David Foster told me, the mic comes in front of your face. If you don't grab it, it goes to the next person and it's not coming back. And I already had it and it went away and it came back and now they're trying to take it away again. So I am going 1,000 times what I've ever gone right now because this is it. I have to rebuild a house for my family, rebuild everything that was in it. And then I need to figure out how to also help my parents who had 0 insurance get a house. So the stakes are, I used to hustle chilling. My parents had a big house down the street in Palisades. We go in their swimming pool. I had a house we lived in. I fed hummingbirds and I still hustled and was crazy. So now I am, like I said, I was in the gutter. I'm in the sewers below the gutter now grinding, but no, I don't sleep. But what were we talking about?
You don't sleep. Okay. So.
Oh, my schedule. Really what my schedule is.
Yes.
What people can't fathom is Heidi, who's now one of the top, people can argue with me all day long, top pop stars in the world. And I'm not saying that like as a hype person, I'm saying numbers wise. Obviously there's Taylor Swift, there's Sabrina Carpenter, there's Dua Lipa, there's 10 of those megastars. Then it drops down to 0. And now you build from there. And Heidi's in that top. So like how I said, I wasn't in the Kevin Hart and I was in the F. Behind the Taylor Swift, there's only one next level, and that's the Heidi tier with these. So she is in a real, that's why she's performing next week in front of 32,000 people in England with Kesha, Sierra.
And how does she feel? Is she ready for it?
Oh, she's rehearsing every day.
That's awesome.
Has the top. everyone. She's like a machine. Stopped drinking wine now for 3 months, and Heidi loves wine. So she's so confident to the point where she's sounding so good, they're dialing back the dancing to like focus on just how good the vocals are sounding.
And like, why is there, like, there should be I mean, I feel like you have documented it with all but I mean, this is the kind of thing, as you describe it, that should be like a documentary. Has any documentary company come and been like, we want to see it? Because a lot of people are like,
Hulu has it.
We want
to shot it with Hulu.
Oh, you do have
We
it.
have it with Hulu. I love Hulu.
And so
but they have such a busy schedule of hits. Shout out my favorite show, The Mormon Wives.
Oh,
that is, Heidi has, I think I'm going to say 10. Let's bring it at least 8 songs.
Harder
hits on there. Go harder.
I saw it.
But she has 8 songs on the show.
Well, I've been promoting Mormon Wives. It's
so
good.
You're promoting
it's
Heidi.
Good.
So I love them. And so they just have a lot. They got the new Alex Cooper show, which I'm hoping Heidi's music is also going to be on.
What is that? Just following her life?
No, it's she has a docu-series. It's going to be on Hulu. That's going on 6 episodes, but she also has a dating format coming out called Overboard for Love with Jeff Jenkins production company. I love Jeff Jenkins. Yeah. So Heidi's music will also be on Hulu. So
so it's kind of interesting because I feel like
busy, crowded
everyone
schedule.
was like, "Oh, let's watch them do a reality show and rebuild their house." We know the actual rebuilding and where the fun part would be visually when you're actually like putting in the cabinets and putting in pillows is years away. So I think what you did, it's such a unique pivot that I don't think, the person at home that loved you guys and watched it would have thought like that the music is being put in these shows and that you then are going this other route of just promoting her. And I think it's just like a fascinating story. I mean, I know you and I know like your heart and you guys as a couple, which I've always been like is so fascinating. And I think people love that too. That you guys have this good marriage and you really are real. And
sorry, when I have this much caffeine, sometimes my eye starts twitching. I'm like, oh no.
No, but I think people die over that. And so I think this is really really been fun to watch.
I think the good news is the show of like rebuilding a house, God willing.
Yeah.
Could be in the year.
Yes.
So we built, because in a perfect world, we get rich enough from pushing this music, going global, doing all these big events she has coming up, where we do have the money, or in a miracle world, the lawsuits, they settle. We get a big old check from LA or LADWP or California Fair Plan. And now we have the money to actually build the house and do one of those like house building shows.
Right. Which is super fun to watch. Everyone always loves those too.
And involving small business, there's that.
Right.
But in a perfect world, the one I'm energetically putting my life into, we just don't stop because, to get like, I'll do it just past 103 million streams. So We're used to this new world of like, where we're used to hearing these numbers. But think about a big star back in our era, they go platinum. 1 million people buy it. So 1 million people heard that. Maybe they listened to it 200 times, 300, but to get to 103 million on just one song, and then the sped up behind that is 33 million, the one behind that is 25 million. That's not counting Apple Music, Amazon Music, Deezer. So it's so much bigger than we even can conceptualize because we're so used to these big numbers. Taylor Swift, a billion. Nobody else is like, it's alien stuff.
Well, I love you from the moment you came to my first show. The first time you came on the show, we were at our old building in Calabasas, and you'd gotten there early, and you were like, I just went to Gelson's trying to see if anyone would recognize me, and nobody did. And I just thought that was so funny. And it's just the honesty that I think is like the most charming thing. Like you've been the most transparent person about your life in the last 15 years since the Hills thing ended. And now we know even that was, manufactured and things like that. So now people are like, oh my gosh, now I get it all and it all makes sense. So I love it. Let's get to some other topics.
Oh my gosh.
So Justin Bieber, there's a whole TMZ thing on it. what is going on with him, that he was broke, that he had to borrow money from Scooter Braun, that he had to sell his music category
Catalog.
for $200 million. And the thought was, why would he sell that? He's so young. What is going on? We've seen him look a little disheveled and whatnot. What's going on with him and Hailey Bieber? But then they were snuggling at a game together like a couple days, some hockey game, some Canadian hockey team. They were there. And, there's just to fill people in, there's always been a lot of videos and people thinking that, Hailey Bieber sought after him, was like a stalker, was, at events that he was at, even though her dad is famous too. So it's not crazy that she'd be at these events. Got him to fall in love with her. He's on a couch with Ellen saying it was an arranged marriage. It was through their pastor. And of course, everyone thought he was joking. And people were like, is there truth to that? Hailey Bieber has a huge makeup line herself called Rhode that's apparently very, very successful. She's also a model. So she gets on the cover of Vogue, and Justin posts it on his page and writes this. Yo, this reminds me when Hailey and I got into a huge fight. I told Hales that she would never be on the cover of Vogue. Yikes, I know, so mean. For some reason, I felt so disrespected. I thought, I got to get even. I think as we mature, we realize that we're not helping anything by getting even. We're honestly just prolonging what we really want, which is intimacy and connection. So,
Sorry,
baby,
Perez's comment is phenomenal.
Yeah, sadly, you were mistaken. So it goes, so baby, you already know, but forgive me for saying you wouldn't get a Vogue cover because clearly I was sadly mistaken. And then Perez wrote, sadly, you were mistaken.
No, you wrote, sadly, in caps, because why would you be sadly mistaken? Thankfully, I'm mistaken.
Okay, so this is what I think. Okay. So everybody, not everybody, lots of people that do really great content on this. And I actually commented on one of the girls, Elsrich is her name. She's really good on Instagram. And she was like, girl, your husband hates you. Justin hates you. We've seen where he's like slammed the door practically on her leg while she's getting in a car, where she's driving the car, where he and his friends are in the back, where she's running after him. What is this marriage? What is this about? It gets deleted after a couple hours, this thing. And this is what I think. I think she wrote it. I think that she wrote this. I think she got on his phone. This is just me. And people don't agree with me because I put this in this girl's
It's the hottest take I've heard in a minute.
Because okay, let me just tell you. Just like how you said the demons have the Christian, whatever. I'm telling you, I think he did say that to her once. I think he has been mean to her for many years. They don't want to get divorced. They have a baby together. But in a moment, she was like, oh, I'm going to write this because this is true. You felt disrespected. What you want is a connection, but you're just a dick to me. She wrote it so people would be like, oh my God, he's fucking awful. And Hailey is amazing. I think they are very weird. I think they have a very weird relationship. It doesn't mean it won't last forever. I think it's unusual. And then when she realized the reaction it was getting and everything, then either he took it down or whatever. But I don't believe that the Justin Bieber I'm seeing walking around being whatever wrote this. That's my personal opinion. I think there's something weird going on, and I think she did it.
I would believe like that, but I don't think she has his code. I think that's the level of relationship they're at. I don't think she has his phone code to get into his phone.
Okay, that's a good point. So, I 100% could be wrong. We'll never know the truth. So then she goes and does a fun video to promote the Vogue cover. And I thought it was really clever. It's like, what's in your bag, Hailey? So she goes, oh, I have this. Here's my phone, and here's my 5 other phones. This is my burner phone. This is how I can comment that. And she's making fun of the fact of everything that everybody has said, including me. Do you have a burner for are you writing as Justin? So I thought that was smart that she made a joke. And then she goes, and then this is this witch's oil This is when I met a witch years ago who gave me this oil that if I took these drops on my tongue, I would marry a Canadian pop star. Like, again, I'm not a stalker. You guys have said all this about me. I'm now mocking the
Stephen
story.
Baldwin is not going to like that witch joke. Let me tell you. Stephen Baldwin's not going to like that.
But it's a joke. So she's joking. Of course, she's not a witch. Of course, she didn't do witchery. Of course, maybe somebody helped write her this. Maybe the people at Vogue that think they're funny was like, why didn't you get ahead of it? I don't know how it came about. I think it was smart because it's a lot more interesting than if she really did talk about her favorite, Rhode lip gloss and whatever, hand lotion. And, but
oh my gosh, I didn't even notice the perfume says Nepo.
You know why I also
perfume?
think this is her?
The baby?
No, why she wrote this is I have a memory for very weird, insignificant things. And I remember Kim Kardashian saying that she had a publicist that she was paying a lot for. And she said, I want to be on the cover of magazines. That's my goal. And the publicist said, sorry, honey, you will never be on the cover of a magazine. That's not you. We're going to try to get you to be like a Juliana Rancic. And she was like, well, if the person I'm hiring doesn't see me in the space that I do, then goodbye. It's a great lesson, And I just feel it's one of those stories. Somebody told her or somebody said it, you'll never be on the cover of Vogue. It's such a specific thing. I don't believe that Justin Bieber ever said in a fight, you'll never be on the cover of Vogue.
I do. I do.
Okay, you
I
do.
I'll tell you why.
This is why it's such a juicy debate.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. And I could be wrong. And I've witnessed it.
Yeah.
In some relationships, there's certain, whether it's the man or the woman or whatever gender, doesn't matter. Somebody who has more fame, when the other person starts getting more attention and they didn't marry a person with more attention, there is this resentment that makes it not work. And I could name examples that I know in my head right now that I've witnessed, and then it doesn't work. And now you can say he's Justin Bieber, he's got all these hits, but he respectfully has not had a hit in years. She has a hit. She had the Hailey Bieber.
His last hit was the Lonely song. I'm so lonely. I love that song.
Anyway, I know the music game is.
Yeah.
It was last week.
Yeah.
You don't have a hit. So she has the hit with the smoothie, and now she has a future $1 billion. Road is going to be $1 billion. And I think once it's said and done, if they really do have a bad relationship, second it's locked in, and she's like officially Kylie Jenner money, which is so close, she'll leave him if it is bad, and it will know if it is a good relationship because she's going to get to $1 billion for sure.
If what we witness is really true, which seems like he's not a great husband, I really hope she does.
She won't need this
if he doesn't change and get well and start, producing music to make himself feel better. And she shouldn't have to be driving him around and him, whatever, all the video that we see that just looks like he's not very into her or respectful. I hope that she does do whatever's best for her and her child.
We've talked about it before, and I keep going back to it. And I know we'll bring him up.
Yeah.
But if something happened with him and Diddy, and he has this fear and panic that's his story is going to be told, so he's spiraling and taking it out and lashing out in the world and maybe doing whatever he's doing that's making him do these, because if the video of him having the overnight with Diddy, no matter how you look at it, even if he didn't do anything to Diddy, didn't do anything to Bieber, just the fact that he had to spend the night at Diddy's as a kid.
For a weekend, 48 hours at Diddy's.
Even if they didn't do anything, the weirdness that now he's like, this guy was not just a criminal, what's the word? Like a sex offender, that frequency that now he has that taint, that energy. So I also think that could just be coming out more than ever right now. And there's the Selena getting married to such a successful, nice guy that everyone loves, who's internet's favorite guy. So it's just a lot. So I'm not making excuses for him, but that's why I'm thinking if these things were affecting him, you could type that up quick.
I mean, Justin Bieber was a child star, one of the biggest child stars. So was Britney Spears. So was Amanda Bynes. It can fuck you up. And he, go
another
ahead.
thing before I forget, because I have brain things.
Yeah.
He's also publicly smoking nonstop amounts of marijuana, and the brand he's picking, I know the owner is CBX. It's very clean brand, but it is the most potent. This is not normal marijuana. This is like crazy. This is like the tier 1 most expensive. This is not weed he's smoking. This is making you. So if he's high out his mind off of this, and this isn't like what you smoke in Canada. Maybe he got used to Canadian weed. This is that LA, California Kush. So not only he's got all these emotions going on, he's so high, you could type that up, crazy high.
Well, I mean, as I've told the stories of when he was on Chelsea Lately, the kid was so sick. I'm like, aren't we going to cancel the day? They're like, no, a doctor's coming to give him a B12 shot.
Well, like just
No,
just
like he just like a little kid, like a 14-year-old that's really fucking sick that would stay home from school for a week, like sick,
out doing the hustling.
Just being a sick kid that can but not talk, have a cold, everything. And the doctor came to give him the B12 shots, and he had to do the show. And then there's been compilation videos from Jenny McCarthy to Leah Remini to all these other women and James Corden, like right in their face being like, you're so hot, you're so young. When do you turn, 18 and all this and just all the creepy stuff. And he's like, I have young. It was like one of the things that the Leah Remini had said, and this is just a video that's out there. And I get it. Producers tell you to do it. And I'm not bagging on her, but imagine if you're him. And it was like, okay, you have to decide. You have to strip naked and run around or eat a worm sandwich or something. And he goes, I'm not answering that question. I have little girl fans, and there's little girls in the audience. And she's like, no, you have to answer it. And it just was one of those things. We did a skit where we were dressed, two other girls and I, that we were, in the hallway, like acting like we wanted to meet him. And we were like, it's poor. It was poor taste. It was bad. It wouldn't happen today. It's inappropriate, all of it. But because he was a boy,
it's okay.
It seemed like it was, you know what I mean? We thought it was like less than if 5 men were doing that to a 15-year-old girl. So then he has that. He has the Diddy thing happen. Getting into the Diddy stuff, what's crazy is another great compilation tape that came across, whoever made it, of all the time Wendy Williams had talked about P. Diddy. And she had a radio show, and she said he had his one of the girl groups out there to beat her up after she talked about him. She talked about, it's amazing. Every time she talked about it and called about what it was. What's insane, okay, is we all talk about the conspiracies of how did Kim Porter die of pneumonia? Okay.
How did Dr. Frank Ryan drive off the cliff?
Right. Exactly. How did Bernie Mac die? That was something, he died of some mysterious illness too. And he was coming up, and he was a big comedian. He's a black, very funny comedian, and kind of what Cat Williams was saying. So it is crazy that Steve Harvey and he have been friends for 25 years, and Steve Harvey's stepdaughter, who he raised since she was little, was dating P. Diddy's son, and then was dating P. Diddy, all within the last few years. Very strange, right?
I think the word's creepy.
Creepy, strange.
Creepy.
Why?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
You're telling me that Steve Harvey didn't look. It's what you wouldn't know the reputation. You wouldn't be like, you're absolutely not dating P. Diddy. Like, even if you didn't know about Freak Off,
you would knew about Freak Off.
You would have enough knowledge that he has multiple girlfriends. And now that we know from the case, the Freak Off stuff, he's obviously loved watching naked men. So he's gay or bisexual, whatever. He's a sex addict. All the awful things that happened to Cassie, we know, and the trial is going on. Now they've got her mother spoke about it, how he was like, give me $20,000 because Cassie broke up with me and I want my $20,000 back or else. So she did give him $20,000 and then he goes, fine, you can have it back. And then they get back together. It was an awful, awful relationship. We can all agree with that. Now they have got some of these dancers and escorts coming and speaking about it, which is all the same stuff with the everything they had to do. And even when they were going to seize his property and he knew it, he went and was ready, preparing for his last freak off before arrest. He'd brought all the baby oil and everything when they found him on his last vacation.
On the boat. Somebody TikToked that and they were like, listen to these lyrics now that we know. Her hit song is about all these guys. They know what I do. They've been hearing. Like, he made her even sing about the freak offs, I think.
And that was her first and only hit at 19. He was 36. He then became her boyfriend, did all these things. She signed a 10-year record deal, recorded 100 songs that nobody ever heard.
Only put the freak off song out.
And then she had to just be the freak off person. It is so, and then of course it all just comes down to, was his business involved? Was his legit businesses?
Epstein?
Yeah, it was his legit businesses involved in criminal activity, which this is prostitution is criminal activity.
Well, they'll never be able to prove it because it's all not on paper and it's all like these handshake. No, I'm saying the big dog powers that be that were, that Diddy invited and put with the girl, because the real powers weren't actually having sex in front of everybody. He could have been a coordinator for the entertainment business, getting these women or men that were in the freak offs to a hotel with a power that be in the, so he could have been like a big pimp, I
don't know if they just didn't have enough evidence with other people, or if these other people who were powerful that might have been there were able to remove themselves from any kind of being mentioned in the trial. But now I kind of think that the freak off stuff he did not involve other famous people with.
But I think there could have been the real freak off people. Maybe they all got killed. If you were trafficked,
people disappearing.
They trafficked the women from whatever country, bring them in. They were in the freak off that he orchestrated with the real powers be, and then disappear these women back to, or men back to wherever. That's the level we're talking. There's. It's
right.
not.
I mean, and so many people are connected to Diddy. Either they, were at parties or worked with him or knew him, and it doesn't mean that they knew that he was at a hotel with Cassie on a 4-day freak off every week. I still think that there is a level that you might have not known that just because you went to his white party. Stuff like that.
I have a close friend who, I don't want to say what he did, but he works for athletes, all these people, does whatever he does. And he's worked on Diddy for years. And I joked to him like, oh, so are you, bad joke. Are you probably, he's like, I was obviously I'm too ugly or I don't want to be cool, but I never saw any of this. So, and this is somebody,
you know what I think it is, kind of is
aren't included in the club.
But this is what I think it is. And I've said it a lot. I've never done a line of cocaine. And when people would be doing cocaine at parties or whatever, I can honestly say, except for one time, like in college, I've actually never seen it laid out and done it, because I think the people that do that only include people that also do it. So I think that no, that's why they were hiring these people from other states. That's why he's wearing a Muslim veil, and the guy didn't even know that P. Diddy was who it was. Cassie had a wig on. I think they did keep this very secret, and but yes, do I think his assistants and things knew? Yeah. But do I think other big celebrities were part of it? I don't. I mean, I think there were all these conspiracies. People talked about Jay-Z and things like that. I don't know. I think that's going to be I don't know that we'll ever know for sure, but I also would lean towards, no, he didn't get other big stars involved.
One thing I've learned about
I'll say, but then maybe that's how he got everyone to stick with Bad Boy, is that he filmed them and he had the blackmailing. That's the other thing people are saying. They filmed Cassie, so he's blackmailing her to stay. Did he ever film anybody else, which is what I've always thought happened with Epstein, is that he'd invite these billionaires and then they'd have crazy sex.
Well, it's not a secret. They had all the cameras in Epstein's house.
And then he would say, oh, well, the girl that was, giving you a BJ last night is 16 years old, so you better invest in my company.
And the tape goes away.
I mean, how did he become the biggest hedge fund person in the world?
With no trades or whatever.
He was teaching math at a private school
But even
prior
that,
to-
how he got
yeah.
that job at that private school is even fishy
Weirder, too.
because
He never even graduated from college or
and it was like
something.
this elite
So
school.
it is, if the government wins what they are trying to get, they could actually take all of his money that's left. All the $400 million that's left could go to the government. So when you wonder why his kids and everybody are standing behind him, that's their livelihood and that's their generational wealth. They do not want that to go away. Also, they don't want to believe that the dad did awful, mean things that weren't consensual, but still.
The wildest theory that I saw, I don't know how true it is, but this all opened up and this case really only happened because he sued Ciroc, and the owners of Ciroc are just this mobbed out ultra billion.
That's right. I remember this story.
Billionaire.
That's kind of what set it
like
off.
you don't mess with type powers to be.
It was Ciroc was part of a
like
bigger
huge,
thing. Yeah.
like an LVMH type huge thing
right.
in Europe, and how these people got their money is however.
Right.
And so once he went to war with them, they're like, okay. And he won. And so they're like, okay. And I think that's a good, because it's like this came so hot and fast that it seems like somebody's like open.
I think it was that, but it was also the Cassie thing. Cassie suing is what also set off this thing, because then they had a real person to testify.
I may have misread the TikTok I watched, but Cassie's husband watched her on FaceTime have sex with
No,
Diddy.
I never heard that.
I think that was in the court case, that he was on FaceTime during one of the freak offs.
The Alex was? I thought that he was the personal trainer, and then she got with him, and then like was seeing him or knew of him, then finally broke free of Diddy.
But at one time, I think they FaceTimed while she was out of freak off.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if that part is true.
Check into that one, Scoobers.
Okay. Free Diddy protesters were being paid $20 an hour. So then, 50 Cent loves an AI. He wore the shirt, Free Diddy.
He has the best AI team
And
people.
then he had like this whole AI thing of
why did they hate each other so much? I didn't know he had some crazy beef with Diddy. It must go back to New York and music.
I think it goes back to he is East Coast and Diddy's East Coast.
They're both
too.
East Coast. So there must have been.
I don't really know. Maybe just, it must be some music thing. Or he just thinks he's an asshole and is happy to see him die.
Well, there's a viral clip that I did see where 50 Cent had just had the big hit, and Diddy tries to like big dog him, and he's like, I'm gonna take you shopping. I should take you shopping, like in this clip backstage. And Diddy says, like, you're not taking me shopping. It was so, search that clip later.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like,
just like, it was
as in like, I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna go take you. Or like, you want to be one of my freak offs? Like, let me put you in like how they have Meek Mill allegedly.
Yes. The alleged thing is that Meek Mill was one of his.
Well, there's a video where Meek Mill's in the pool, like all laid up, and he's like, Dad, he says, like, one of them says, Diddy says to him, you know how Daddy likes. It was like the wildest, like.
Okay. I don't
joke with any guy that's in the pool. And I'm like,
yeah, there's probably people that came up that did things that in the beginning that, maybe it wasn't part of like a freak off with numerous witnesses, but maybe did something with him sexually, and he's blackmailed him, and that's why they've been quiet and stuck around. But I think for these particular freak offs that are being testified to, I don't think they involve anyone else famous.
We would know by now.
Yeah. So this was the Wendy clip by Mr. Red Pills. He put this together or posted it, and it was just crazy all the times that she interviewed him and talked about him. And it just, and like he was such a favorite on Ellen too. And there's that clip of him and Ellen.
There's so much. You go down the Ellen rabbit hole, you can't come out.
And Ellen's, she moved to Europe.
With their background of the Epstein matching, like the blue matches Epstein's pyramid. And there's so much. I'm like, I don't even.
Okay, Spain, this is fun little news. Spain is recruiting 10,000 volunteers to drink wine daily for 4 years. They're supposed to have a glass of wine, one or two, every day for 4 years, and they want to see if it really will affect
Can they backdate it? I think I've done 10.
They want people between like 55 and 75, men and women. But it's just a volunteering. I don't know, like if they give you the alcohol, if they send it to you, if you have to be in Spain. But the comments were so funny. And, it is a good study because you see a lot of people saying, if it was, it would never be FDA approved today and this and that. And then there's people that just, drink every day of their life and have a wonderful life.
95.
Yeah, and have a wonderful life and are like, but yeah, there is a big movement to not drink.
I'm like, the amount of, I feel like you're like drinking alcohol now is like smoking crack. Certain people are like, oh no, I don't drink. I'm like, this is an organic biodynamic wine. They did it to the moon and stars out of the earth, and it's great. What are we confused about? So I have to like calm myself because I feel like I'm being so judged now with this new like anti-drinking movement. I don't know who's pushing it. I think it's all these companies selling the non-alcoholic beverages. Also, the other thing that drives me nuts, and I'm happy for sober people and good for you and whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole like do a post, 2 years not drinking, big deal. Like I know, like, I'm sorry, this could be a total hot take, but like I don't think this deserves a post. Like 3 days of me drinking. Like why are we?
Recently,
that
Chrissy,
could be too hot. I'm sorry.
Recently,
stay sober.
Chrissy Teigen did say. Married to John Legend did say she went sober a few years ago. And recently she said, I'm back to drinking or something. And then Courtney Stodden, who was the famous child bride, who when she was on every hard copy, Chrissy Teigen tweeted mean stuff to her, like go take a dirt, and Courtney Stodden wants to remind the world of that a lot. And Chrissy has said like, I'm sorry, I think, but whatever. So then Courtney made some joke about, I'm drinking. And people are like, why don't you respect the sobriety? But it just goes to that whole thing about just everybody do you.
That's my point.
If you do you, it's a hard thing to say. And there's so many things where people then they give up drinking, but they do smoke pot or they microdose or they get rid of everything. And then they go sober for 5 years. And now they are able to have like a glass of wine or champagne. And it's like, no, once you give it up, you're supposed to give it up forever. I'm like, that's two people that created AA 100 years ago. We don't know what works or what doesn't. And then you're also just like, I don't know if it makes you happy and it's not hurting anybody. I mean, who's to say where we are going to be in 5 years? Like, I like a cocktail and I enjoy it. And oh my gosh, we went.
I hope this is sponsored by an alcohol company. Let's get an alcohol ad right now. No, sorry to interrupt.
I have my own drink.
Oh, I have my own drink
at Casalina in Woodland Hills.
I have my own margarita at Delgado's in Carpenter, the Pratt Daddy margarita.
Okay. Yeah, mine is a vodka-based drink, and it's a martini, and it's called the Juicy Scoop at Casalina in Woodland Hills, which is a beautiful restaurant, has Italian. It's the best food. Go with a few people because you want to try everything and share. But anyway, and that's, but it's
a weird like battle. That's what I'm feeling.
I wonder because
sober people are nuts.
Technically, how old are you?
41.
So you are millennial. You're a millennial. I'm a Gen X. Okay. Most Gen X's people, their kids are Gen Z.
They don't drink. Gen Zs are like
they're not drinking that much. Some are, but I'm telling you, we went to the Nest with a couple Gen Zs, my son and my friend's daughter and her friend. And, so there was like the 4 parents and 3 Gen Zers. And they play music. And my generation is drinking. We're dancing. This one girl that was with us was like, I had the best. She'd never partied harder than when she was with the Gen Xers. I gave her, I'm like, try my drink. It's a Cosmo, but it's done less sweet. It's really sour. She's like, I think I drink twice a year. That was the funnest night of my life. They get in an Uber to come back to our house. The Uber is a karaoke Uber. They were like, I'm like, the thing is also, I don't feel like Gen Z, they don't really dance. Like we would go to clubs and dance, or we'd have like frat parties and actually dance. And I think I think we can bring everybody together. I think we can bring everybody together, and people need to get out and fucking party more. And it's fine if you don't want to drink, but at least listen to some music and dance.
That is why, if you notice, a lot of performers now ask the audience, please, for this song, and I'm getting content, so I don't care what anybody says, but they're not dancing because everyone's making sure they get content, the TikTok or the Snapchat. So you're like holding your phone to get the evidence of you being at something, which I get. You paid money for, you got to show. So it's all because of this social media construct that you can't just like let loose. And, people are filming you now. So you're the old world that we lived is like dance like nobody's watching. Now you can't dance like nobody's watching because somebody could be filming you and making you like a cringe viral TikTok, like, look at this idiot.
I recognized someone filming me when I was at the Nest.
Yeah, and they're going to like,
and I loved it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care, but there's people that care.
I'm having fun. I don't care if I look like Elaine.
What's the Nest?
Yeah, the Nest is a restaurant in La Quinta.
I love you, just the local La Quinta's Palm Springs.
Yeah, it's between La Quinta. Yeah, La Quinta is a little further than Palm Springs. It's been there forever, and it's really good food. And
is that where the hotel is?
It's near the Sands Hotel.
What's the La Quinta Hotel?
La Quinta Hotel is like a franchise of hotels.
Oh, okay.
La Quinta is a city.
Got you.
That I have the house at. And this place is it's just fun because it's a variety of people. When you get there earlier, it's like a little bit older. But then if you're leaving at 10, there is a line of like 20-somethings ready to like rip it. Because then there's like the live music in front, and in the back, there's a DJ. Anyway, so it's a good time. It's just a fun time. And it's just like, I feel like there's not a lot of places like that in LA anymore to go to.
Yeah, the club scene's, no, I don't want to say dead. There's still club, but I mean, from my era, it's gone,
But see, what's great about this, it's a restaurant with music that you can sit, have a meal, get a drink, and dance. It's not you had to buy bottle service.
Right,
I think that's what happened.
Roast people off, the pressure.
What happened with the, in the millennial era of like the only way that you could get in as a dude is to spend thousands of dollars on bottle service. Like that didn't exist when I was young. Yeah, that's like
Grey Goose and a Voss.
Yeah.
Like $3,000.
Yeah, like that. So I think that they have to figure out a different way to like get people together, whatever that is. So Carl from Summer House is starting a sober bar. He's attempting the sober bar. And, a lot of people say it's going to be a challenge. This was a post that someone sent me because he raised $130,000 from investors, and he signed a 7-year lease, but it's $10,000 a month, but he still hasn't built it out. And in the end, it will only serve non-alcoholic drinks.
I think he would be better off like just getting a permit for a park because you don't need alcohol in the park, and doing like one of these hangs like they have in Venice that everyone goes to.
Yeah, there's a morning now. There's morning coffee DJ day parties where they do have the DJ and people just have coffee and they're up and they're dancing.
There's
and they're
something
doing
at
those,
some
like,
park
in Venice.
that I keep seeing, and it's like you have to be so hot to be there. It's like the like thing, and they all just sit on blankets and So, and again, anyone here that's sober, you be sober. I love that for you. I just don't understand it's just projecting things. It's like politics. I don't need anybody to tell me, just do whatever is happy. That's my whole thing. I hang out with sober people all the time. It's just when it gets that weird with the energy, like, oh, you're sober. Like I could play it back to you. Like we could. So that was my point. I don't care what people do. It's just once it becomes this judgment thing. And that's why I don't judge yet. You do whatever makes you happy as long as nobody's getting hurt. And obviously there's people with alcohol problems. That's not what I'm saying.
There's a viral video of Bert Kreischer talking about like why he loves drinking, and people have played it a million times. And I related to it because it's one of those things that like I liked the ritual of all the occasions of drinking so much that's why I've always wanted to like make sure I don't get to a place where I would have to give it up, like, so I wanted to respect it this whole time, and so far so good. But it was like the Bloody Mary at a
Breakfast.
football game. Yeah. It's the champagne. It's the first drink of the night when you're like getting ready.
Espresso martini.
It's the juicy scoop martini. It's the espresso martini if you're ready to go the night. It's margaritas the smell of a margarita with chips and guacamole. I like them.
So-
all. I like different glassware.
We should host a drinking party. Is what's coming up. Well, I'm definitely gonna have a party for Heidi's album release.
What
that I'll
is
make
that
sure
gonna be? Do you know?
probably like June 6th. You around?
Okay. Oh yeah.
And that
Right.
will have alcohol. Make
Okay.
sure of it. So
Well, I'm gonna have a big thing that I'm gonna announce soon, which
Okay,
you'll be
great.
invited to. I'll give
Oh.
you the date to save
is
the
it
date.
in
I hope
is
that
it
your
in La
hair.
Quinta?
No, it'll be in
Okay.
LA.
Because this was a far enough drive for
know.
me. We might as well have met in.
And it's, yeah. Everybody knows what to do. You're going to go to Spotify. You're going to tell
That's
them.
free if you have $10.
Oh, if you have $10,
if you have
you wanna do
$10,
something.
pre-order on Amazon Music, Heidi Wood, or on. So there's the difference. People get confused. Apple Music, you have that on your phone no matter what. iTunes is a different app. It's like so confusing to people. So you think you won on Apple Music and you got it. That's just like the free. It's like having on Spotify. If you want to spend the money and pre-order it, you got to go on iTunes and search Heidi Wood and pre-order because we need 15,000 pre-orders for Heidi to be in the Billboard charts, which keeps her so legitimate for all these top people that want to keep sending us these records. So it's not it's not making us rich. You're not, but you are.
But it's also about
the whole
and the longevity
exactly,
of
the
what her career could be.
seriousness,
This
and
isn't just like a little blip.
Yes, this is so
Cool.
important.
And
So-
the music is great and it is fun.
Oh,
and
we invested more than the $10 that you spent.
and the songs
on it.
do really work really well in these fun shows like the Hulu shows.
Again, these are all the top people in the world. This
So
isn't
we
Heidi
don't know
on.
when we're going to see the Hulu doc about you guys.
Maybe I'll never. We got to pray for that one.
Okay.
It's just one thing I know about TV and
Yeah.
is so I stopped playing pretend after the house burned down.
Yeah.
Because real's real. So I love Hulu. They keep putting Heidi's music in. I'll keep pumping Hulu, but us being on Hulu, that's in God's hands now.
Okay.
So do your Christian service and pray for Heidi and Spencer on Hulu coming in Q4.
And I appreciate you always coming on the show because
Oh
everyone
my
loves
God.
you. So
Juicy
thank you.
Scoopers come up to me more than anyone. So I'm like, even if I didn't just love you, I love the attention. So keep coming up to me in public.
And love to your mom.
Oh, shout out Janet Pratt. We're praying for you too. Hang in there.
Thanks, you guys. Remember, go to heathermcdonald.net and join my Patreon because that's what keeps me going. Love you.